I guess it's really that time. Alright, yo guys, it's me DarkYTX, and today I'll be ranking all Sonic titles from main series to side games. I decided to make a Sonic tier list because why the fuck not? I've been doing mod showcases like all the time, and why just not do something else for once? That's my reason, yeah. Before we begin with this tier list video, make sure to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Okay, now let's go over the rules. The rules are quite simple. I'll be including every main and side Sonic title, and I'll also be including some alternative versions of these games, you know, the official release compilations like Sonic Mega Collection, Sonic Gems Collection, Sonic Origin, etc. I'll also be including fan remasters or fan remakes that tend to use the original as its basis and that don't really overhaul the original experience that much. For example, for Sonic 1 I can use the version Sonic 1 Forever, for Sonic 2, Sonic 2 Absolute, for Sonic 3, Sonic 3 Air, for Sonic Triple Trouble, Sonic Triple Trouble 16-bit, and much more. Keep in mind, I'll be ranking the fan project versions entirely separate because it wouldn't be fair to our original counterpart, especially for games like, you know, Sonic Triple Trouble or Sonic 06, because I actually got overhauled in their fan project versions. So yeah, without further delay, let's start off with the first Sonic game. Let's start off with Sonic 1. Good old Sonic 1. What is there even to say about it? I mean, it's the first Sonic game, obviously. You got zones like Green Hill, Marble Zone, Spring Yard, Labyrinth, Starlight Zone, Scrap Brain. But to be honest, some of them are decent. Not all of them are great, but some of them are good. Green Hill and Starlight are definitely the best zones of the game, but zones like Marble Zone, Spring Yard, they ain't even bad, but they just focus way too much on platforming, to be honest. And I know it's Sonic Team's first Sonic game, so we gotta have to cut them some slack, but it's just a bit too much platforming, even for a gaming master like me. Come on. So that is the reason I'll be generous and I'll just put it in the B tier, to be honest. I mean, it's a game I would play, but not really that much compared to the other games in this list. Layer ports like Origins also improved the game by adding the drop dash and spin dash, but it doesn't really save this game. Next, starting off with kinda sequel, not really, but an alternative version anyway. Sonic 1 8-bit for the Master System. On God, what the fuck were they be thinking? The Master System version of Sonic 1, I guess it has some other zone. I like Bridge Zone, to be honest. It's a pretty decent zone, but the auto platforming is just really boring. And it doesn't really help when the screen is small. Like, the Master System version is just, I don't know, and yeah, there are some good parts, like you can collect the Chaos Emeralds like in Sonic 3 by just going into secret places, but when you take damage or get hit by a spike, you lose all your rings. This isn't really fun. So I'm gonna put it lower than the Genesis version of Sonic 1, so definitely in the C tier. Next game, Sonic 1 for the Game Gear. You remember when I said that the Master System version is not really that good? The Game Gear version is even worse. The screen crunch is just stupid. Like, why did Sonic Team make the Game Gear version somehow even more worse than the Master System version? Like, yes, they have the same zones and everything, but the screen crunch really makes it worse than even the Master System version. So that is the reason I'm gonna put it a tier below the Master System version. So definitely our first D tier. Next, we got Sega Sonic the Hedgehog. You have Mighty and Ray in this title, which is kind of fun. You'll be playing this on the arcade back in the 90s, but I just played it like, I don't know, once on an emulator, and what's there even to say? You platform a bit, you save Mighty and Ray. There's not really that much to do. I think it's also not that bad like the Game Gear version of Sonic 1, so I'm willing to put it in the C tier, to be honest, but definitely higher than the Game Gear version of Sonic 1. Next, we got the sequel, which is Sonic 2 for the Master System. And before I judge this game, can't we just appreciate that it's kind of funny that the Master System version came out before the actual Sonic 2 on the Sega Genesis? Or is it just me? I mean, it's kinda an improvement of the Master System version of Sonic 1. Add some new zones. The paragliding sections are also really fun a bit and kinda entertaining. I wouldn't say it's better than Sonic 1 really on the Genesis or on the Master System. I mean, yes, it's better than the Master System version and definitely better than the Game Gear version of Sonic 1, but it's not really that exceptional, to be honest. I guess you can play it when you're kind of bored, but I don't know. So yeah, I'm gonna actually put this in the same tier as Sonic 1 on the 8 for the Master System. The Game Gear version, you know, we don't even need to judge it. It's definitely in the same tier as Sonic 1 on the Game Gear. So yeah, we're not even gonna talk about it. Next we have Sonic 2. Sonic 2 is definitely an improvement on the first Sonic game for the Sega Genesis. They added Tails, we got the Spin Dash finally. Great zones like Chemical Plant, Emerald Hill, even though Emerald Hill is just a copy of Green Hill, let's be real. Aquatic Ruins, that zone, man, that OST just slaps. Mystic Cave, Oil Ocean. I mean, just banger after banger. The only bad zone really is, you know, Metropolis. And we finally don't have 3 acts, which is definitely a way better improvement than the first Sonic game. So yeah, the Death Egg Robot was kind of tough at the beginning, you know, when you played it for the first time, but have you seen my full playthrough? I've been violating this Death Egg Robot like crazy. I love this game, and I would definitely putting this a tier above Sonic 1. So definitely our first A tier of this list. Next, we have Sonic CD. You know, people really hate on CD. I don't even know why. They say that the time travel is bad, but I don't really think so, because if you master the level design of Sonic CD, it's actually pretty fun. You collect the time stones to change the past, present, and future. You know, you collect the time stones to get a good future, and the zones are actually pretty fun, except Wacky Workbench. Wacky Workbench is just ass. And the OST. Don't get me started on that fucking OST. That OST on this game is making me feeling things that I never felt ever before. There's just so much positive about Sonic CD. So yeah, I'm gonna put this in the A tier. It's not better than the other games on this list because there are really some top tier games in this list, let's be real. I don't think any classic game should be put in the S tier, to be honest, compared to the other ones in the list. So I'm willing to put Sonic CD in the A tier, but definitely above Sonic 2. It's definitely my second favorite classic Sonic game, next to have Sonic Chaos. I mean, what the fuck is even Sonic Chaos? I barely played it once, and I don't know how to feel about this game, so I'm just gonna put it in, I don't know, let's just say, you know what, I'm just gonna put it in the C tier. Not better than Sonic 1 on the Genesis, but yeah, I guess it's also worse Sega Sonic the Hedgehog and the Master System version of Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. So yeah. Next, we have Sonic 3. Oh my god, Sonic 3. One of the best classic Sonic titles ever. This game is nice. I like it. I mean, this is just the first half of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but come on, the OST, guys. The OST. This OST is Michael Jackson. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna say Michael Jackson, cause damn it, that OST is just peak. It's a shame that they cut it away in Sonic Origins, but that doesn't really matter. We're gonna vote the shit out of this game later. Let's talk about the zones. Angel Island. Angel Island is definitely a very good tutorial level. It's pretty fun. You meet Knuckles for the first time, and yeah. What is there even to say about Sonic 3? It's just a very good title. I can speak all day about it. So yeah, I'm gonna put this in the A tier, and Sonic and Knuckles can go there too. I know Sonic and Knuckles has kinda worse zones compared to the first half of Sonic 3, but it's not really that bad to put the game down by several tiers. So let's just say we're gonna put Sonic and Knuckles also in the A tier, but behind Sonic 3. And talking about Sonic 3 and Knuckles, yeah, that's a full package. You get Super Sonic, and when you collect all 7 Super Emeralds, you even get Hyper Sonic, which is a great expansion of Super Sonic's powers, so yeah. And you even be able to fight the final boss in the Hyper form. Like, this is just peak classic Sonic right there. So you know what? This is definitely also in the A tier. Normally I would put it in the S tier, but like I said, the other games in this tier list are just far better than most here, so than Sonic 3 and other classic Sonic titles. And my opinions on these classic Sonic titles have been saying the same, even though they're kind of positive. So yeah, I'm putting Sonic 3 and Knuckles in the A tier, but definitely above Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. Next we have Sonic Triple Trouble for the, I think Sonic Triple Trouble was released on, Sonic Triple Trouble for the Game Gear. I mean, it's a sequel for Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Yeah, Knuckles Metal Sonic returns, even though I forgot to mention Metal Sonic in the Sonic CD voting, but yeah, it's whatever. The Game Gear version, like I said, Screen Crunch puts it worse, makes it a worse experience overall, but I honestly think it's definitely better than Sonic 1, because some of these zones are really unique. What's this, the ice zone, where you go with the hoverboard? I forgot the name. I forgot most of the zone's name even, not gonna lie, but from what I've played, it's pretty fun. So yeah, the final boss with Metal Sonic, was also kind of decent. It's not better than Sonic 3, but to be honest, it's not a bad game really, so I'm gonna put it in the B tier, but definitely above Sonic 1. Next we have Sonic Triple Trouble 16-bit. I mean, if you like Triple Trouble, then you would definitely like Triple Trouble 16-bit, because this fan project, it's let's just say it's the Sonic 3 era for Sonic Triple Trouble. You got the drop dash, the spin dash, like also the later ports of the versions of Sonic 1, Sonic CD, and etc. The entire game is now on 16-bit. It takes place right after you beat Eggman as Hypersonic and you return the Master Emerald. The plot is kind of interesting. You'll be going through all these zones in a reimagined way, and instead of meeting Knuckles and the others, you meet Bang. And yeah, I can go all over about this game. I can glaze this game for all I care. Nigga, I can't even talk anymore, bro. You know how I feel about this game. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna put it in the A tier, but below Sonic 3 and Knuckles, I guess. Next game we got, yes, Sonic 3D Blast. The controls are kind of slippery, to be honest, but hey, I've played worse games. It's not that bad, to be honest. I mean, you collect flickies and all that. I mean, it's a decent title, so you know what? I'm just gonna put it in the B tier. It's not that great, but it's, I guess, somewhat entertaining, and the OST is nice, especially the Saturn version. So just because for the OST, I'm just gonna put it in the B tier. Next, we have Knuckles Chaotix. I mean, Knuckles Chaotix is pretty fun if you master it, I guess. Kind of entertaining, but you know, these rings and holding shit, like swing yourself to the other ways with Espio and Charmy or Vector, which is our first encounter of the Team Chaotix, but whatever. It's kind of hard, but I don't even know how to feel about this game, to be honest. I mean, I guess it's pretty entertaining, but god damn it, I have conflicting issues about this game. You know what? Let's just say B tier. Yes? Is that alright? Yeah, B tier. Next we have Sonic Spinball. I mean, I played Sonic Spinball like once and never touched it again, cause I never got past the first level. It's bad. It's bad. I never got past the first level. It's kind of crazy. So I don't really have that much of an opinion against Sonic Spinball. So you know what? I'm just gonna put it in the C tier, but behind Sonic Chaos. As for Sonic Spinball for the Game Gear, I mean, it's the same game, but just with screen crunch. So I don't know. Let's just say we're also gonna put this in the C tier, to be honest. Now let's go over the drift games. Sonic Drift, I mean, I played it on my 3DS once. Compared to the other Sonic racing games, I would rather play, to be honest, any other racing title rather than Sonic Drift, cause it's not that entertaining, to be honest. So let's just say we're gonna put both drift games in the C tier. Sonic Drift 16-bit, I mean, it's an improvement over both drift games, 16:9 widescreen, but it's still a demo. So there isn't really much to say about Sonic Drift for 16-bit. So let's just be nice and put it in B tier, but above Sonic 1. Next we have Eggman's Mean Bean Machine. I mean, Mean Bean Machine is just Puyo Puyo. Come on, this is Tetris. Both Sonic characters, so I guess if you like Puyo Puyo, it isn't really that bad. So let's just put Eggman's Mean Bean Machine in the B tier. The Game Gear version of Eggman's Mean Bean Machine, I mean, it's the same game, but unlike these other Game Gear titles, the screen crunch isn't really that bad. Doesn't really dishonor the game, so I'm just gonna put it also in the B tier. Next we have Tails Adventure. I mean, the name says it all. It's the first Sonic adventure game. All jokes aside, it's not the first Sonic adventure game, but it's Tails going on an adventure and doing random shit. Like, man, I just saw videos upon it. I never played this game. Oh god damn, I really never played this game, so I can't really judge it that much. So let's just be nice, and so I'm just gonna put it in the D tier. Next we have what's this game called? I don't even know, bro. I don't even know the name of this game. Sonic as a Policeman. I played it like, in the core of my memory, I played it like once or something, and like never touched it again. So, you know what? I'm just gonna put it in the D tier, to be honest. Next we have, what's this? Sega Sonic. Is this a fan game? I think it's a fan game. I never played this in my life, so you know what, I'm just not gonna vote it. For the other three, you know, I don't even know the names of these titles. I'm just gonna rank them as fan games. Tails Music Maker, I don't know what this is. Let's just say it's a fan game. Sonic Schoolhouse? Like, come on guys, do I look like I'm 5? This is fucking just Baldi's Basics, but for Sonic the Hedgehog. So, god damn it. What should I even vote this? You know what? This is ridiculous. And Sonic Labyrinth? Okay, I played Sonic Labyrinth, but Sonic Labyrinth is actually ass. Like, there's just no way Eggman just goes inside Sonic's house, steals his shoes, replace them with slower shoes, and all I gotta do now is spin dash everywhere. I'm not doing all that shit, nigga. This is stupid. So, just because of that reason, and it's slippery as shit, it's even worse than Sonic 3D Blast. So yeah, I'm gonna put this definitely in the F tier, cause this game sucks balls. This game is just stupid. I never want to play this game in my entire life ever again. Next we have Sonic Blast. It's Sonic Blast. The art style is ass. It has a weird special stage depth perception issue, and the sprites, they look like if the people from Donkey Kong Country, Rovia or whatever they're called, they made the sprites and just put it inside this game, and it looks somehow worse. And the zones are quite boring. So yeah, you know what? I'm just also gonna put this in the F tier. Next we have Tails Sky Patrol. Really? What are these obscure classic Sonic titles even? Like, what? What the fuck is Tails Sky Patrol even? Like I said, I played it like once in my free time, but it's boring as shit, and you don't even do that much in this game, so I'm just gonna put it in the D tier. Next we have Sonic Eraser. What the fuck is Eraser, guys? Does that mean Sonic is a fucking eraser? I can just use him to wipe my I don't know, my paper where my pencil was? Like, what the fuck is Sonic Eraser even? This might be a fan game, so you know what? I'm just gonna put it in unimportant fan game category. So yeah. Next we have Sonic the Fighters. I mean, Sonic Fighters is pretty much fun, to be honest. I remember the times where I played it on PS Now, alone, or sometimes with my friends. We're on the multiplayer, we're just boxing. They just complained that I was grabbing or spin dashing and spamming all the time. But it's pretty fun, to be honest. Yet if you play the game on the hard difficulty, it's not really that much fun, especially against Metal Sonic, cause why the fuck does he do so much damage? And that one polar guy, I forgot the name, like, come on. I mean, it's not really that bad if you know how to play the game, but it's not that great either. It's a decent title, don't get me wrong. I even made a full playthrough of it, to be honest, so it's fun. You know what, let's be nice and just put it in the B tier, and the highest B tier. So yeah. Next we have Sonic Jam. I mean, Sonic Jam is one of our first Sonic compilation in this list. You get to play Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic CD, and Sonic 3 from what I can remember. And you also have a hub world, which according to Sega was them trying out, you know, the prototype for Sonic Adventure. So this is a good thing in my eyes. And yeah, I mean, it's a good way to play most of these titles. It's stable, you have save state, you can rewind, and the music slaps. So you know what? Because objectivity here alone, I'm just gonna put it in the A tier. You can play Sonic 3, Sonic 1, Sonic 2, and Sonic CD in a good way. So yeah, A tier for me. Next we have Sonic R. I mean, it was released on the Sega Saturn, but let's be real, most of us either played it on the PC or just on Sonic Gems collection. So yeah, I kind of like this game. The OST, like I said, the OST, it's the most unique part of the game, which isn't actually a good thing, to be honest, but everyone for themselves, I guess. Can You Feel the Sunshine and Sonic Racing? God, this is just giving me an earworm. And the playable characters, like you got Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Tails Doll, and even Mecha Knuckles. And you even got that one robot for Sonic 3. Let's be real, the best character was definitely Super Sonic and regular Sonic, but the physics are kinda just ass. Like, they're slippery if you don't use the L1 or R1 triggers to make Sonic play like a car. So I don't know what Traveler Tales was thinking about this game. So you know what? It's not that good. I mean, it's good, but it's also not bad, to be honest. It's decent. I'm just gonna put it in the B tier. After all that classic Sonic talk, like golly, it's been 30 minutes, damn it. We finally have Sonic Adventure. Oh my god. Sonic Adventure. How do I feel about this game? This is just... words cannot even describe how good this game is. This is the best Sonic game in Sonic history. There's just no Sonic game ever that can surpass the GOAT that is Sonic Adventure. Like, I could go all day about this game, but let's just talk about it. I mean, Sonic Adventure, you have the Sonic story, the Tails story, the Knuckles story, Amy, Big, Gamma, and even the Super Sonic story. Like, God, I need to calm down. I need to calm the fuck down. Emerald Coast, like, the spin dash skipping everywhere, going through collisions, speed running, doing unintentional shit with this game, the shenanigans. It's just pure. This is how Sonic should always play. The physics. No Sonic game after Sonic Adventure could quite really replicate the physics of this game. The only Sonic game that even came close was Sonic Frontiers, but even that falls short to Sonic Adventure. Like, Sonic is just the best playable character, obviously. Then we have Tails going through all of Sonic's levels. I mean, he kind of skips them, but this is also kind of fun in its own way. Treasure hunting with Knuckles, better than at least a certain other game. But yeah, you collect all 3 Emerald Shards, which is also pretty fun. Amy gameplay, I mean, you're kind of just running away, but it's not really that bad. You can always beat up the robot. And mech shooting and the level design. The level design is just so open for every character that you can just do whatever the fuck you want. And I really love targeting enemies with Gamma, cause the skill points and all that. And this was pretty fun, and the story was actually very emotional. Shit had me crying. Big story, you know what? I'm gonna say it. Big story is pure cinema. I don't care what anyone says. Fishing is probably, I know Big the Cat is a meme, but fishing, I mean, okay, it's kind of bad. Okay, you got me. It's kind of bad. It's kind of bad. Fishing is ass, especially when you go 2 kilogram fishes or 1 kilogram fishes, but you can easily negate this. I explained this in my Sonic Adventure full playthrough. Go check it out. Yes, Big the Cat is annoying as shit. You have to do it. Collecting Froggy is ass, but what can you do about it? The lighting is pretty good. The OST is pretty good. Chaos is a good villain. Perfect Chaos. I love Open Your Heart. I love Tikal as a character. There's just so much good. The only really bad thing about Sonic Adventure is just the mission mode and maybe collecting some emblems. You know, Sky Chase. I mean, Sky Chase is pretty ass cause you have to sit there for like hours on end and it's not really that fun, Sky Chase. So I can see why people don't like Sonic Adventure that much, but I don't think it's enough to put the game really that down. You also have the Chow Garden, which really is a tech demo compared to Sonic Adventure 2's Chow Garden, but whatever. And yeah, mission mode is just ass cause finding some cards are just ass. You have to do some really precise shit, but it's not really that fun. And some cards can only be collected if you, let's just say, if you're playing as Sonic and if you're in Station Square, you can only take cards for Sonic in Station Square and other cards. But you can with the other card, let's just say you play as Sonic and you want to get a card for Amy, you can't do this. But that's optional, so I guess it's okay. And yeah, Super Sonic returns, 7 Emeralds, absolute cinema. You know what? I can go all day about this game. I don't even know what to say other than this is pure Sonic. This is peak fiction, and this is not, and it's not going into F tier. No, it's not going into A tier. No, not even B, not even S tier, nigga. No, it's going straight into the top 5, cause that's how good the game is. This is the best Sonic game in history. And I don't care if anyone says that I'm glazing. Fuck y'all, nigga. This is going straight into the top 5. Now that I'm done with Sonic Adventure, let's go over the next game, Sonic Adventure DX, the port. Yeah, I mean, it's still the same game, let's be real. I mean, you got 60 FPS improvements and all that good stuff. You can finally skip cutscenes, but let me just say, the lighting pretty much sucks balls, I swear. That game looks even, it feels like the lighting is so ass, not as bad as Sonic Colors Ultimate, but it's bad to the point like someone slapped Baby or like Diddy on Sonic. Literally, you ruin the beautifulness that is Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast with DX. I guess you get more games like the Game Gear titles and some other titles, but that's not saving the game that much. But at least you have 60 FPS and the gameplay is pretty much the same on the Dreamcast. So honestly, I'm not gonna put it into D tier or F tier cause it still keeps the fundamental gameplay from Sonic Adventure, but it does have quite the issues with some glitches appearing like in Emerald Coast, but that's a porting issue, so it doesn't really take down the game that much to the point that it's unplayable. So you know what, I'm gonna be generous and put it in the S tier. Next we have Sonic Pocket Adventure. I think it was released for the Neo Geo, but I guess it's a game, alright? You replace classic Sonic with modern Sonic, but give him his classic animations and sprites, and you just go over some past zones from Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. And the final boss, it gets different. The special stage also have some weird stage depth perception issues, but you know what? I don't even know how to feel about this game. I'm just gonna put it in the, what tier should I put it? Just gonna be nice and put it in C tier. There's not really that much in this game, so yeah. Next we have Sonic Shuffle. Sonic Shuffle is a fucking Mario Party clone, and I don't care what anyone says. And the CPUs cheat, so that is why I'm pulling it into the fucking C tier. Next we have Sonic Adventure 2. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm gonna have to explain myself. Look. Sonic Adventure 2, it's not better than Sonic Adventure 1, and I don't care what anyone the fuck says. Y'all niggas are just tripping balls, nigga. Like, come on, how can you say that Sonic Adventure 2 is better than Sonic Adventure 1? Let's go over the positives first. Sonic and Shadow have the same as Sonic did in his first adventure, yet some of these stages, they're just way too linear, to be honest. I mean, they're not bad, don't get me wrong. I love them because I speedrun them too, and they're not really that bad, but I don't know. I just miss the open-ended level design that Adventure has, so that's a kind of a downgrade, to be honest. But levels like Metal Harbor, Green Forest, Final Rush, Final Chase, and Sky Road, they're pretty good, so that shouldn't take the game down that much. And let's go over the story. The story is by far the best Sonic story in the entire series. Shadow's story was done completely right. It was really an emotional trip, like seeing Maria getting shot, that was pretty sad. The things with Gerald, Shadow's past as a general, I tell you, Sonic Adventure 2 has the best story overall. The lines with "I found you, Faker" were pretty funny, and yeah, it's like comparing light and darkness. That's what Sonic Adventure 2 is really. Now let's go over the ranking system. This game had a ranking system, and the ranking system is pretty good, to be honest. I mean, it's kind of tough, but not for me. Like, I played games like Sonic Unleashed and I'm constantly getting S ranks there, so why should I struggle in Sonic Adventure 2? So obviously I've always been getting A ranks in this game. So, and the Chow Garden is pretty fun. You can do more things than just, you know, playing a tech demo in Sonic Adventure 1, the Chow Garden. You have Chow Boxing when you and other Chows can just run the fade and everything. Like, it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun, but I'm not the biggest fan of the Chow Garden, to be honest. Now let's go over the negatives of Sonic Adventure 2. What holds the game back from the top 5 is pretty simple. The treasure hunting stages and the mech shooting stages. Sonic Adventure 2 stages are actually split into multiple campaigns, the hero story and the dark story, but what holds the other two gameplays back from making Sonic Adventure 2 actually better than SA1 is pretty simple. Look, when you're entering a treasure hunting stage with Knuckles or Rouge, like every time you want to find each emerald piece or just a key for Death Chamber or something else, you can only locate one piece at a time, which is pretty annoying against Sonic Adventure 1's treasure hunting system where you can locate all the pieces at the same time. The stages are actually bigger than the SA1's version, but the thing is, like, let's say I'm in Pumpkin Hill. I want to collect one emerald piece. I just find the second or the third piece somewhere out of nowhere and it just wouldn't get shown up in the radar. Meanwhile, I can only search for the first one, which will only be the one that's getting shown up. And only then when I collect the first one, the second and the others will show up, which is pretty annoying and which holds the gameplay back, especially in the treasure hunting stages. Now let's go over the mech shooting stages. Tails mech shooting stages rely on platforming. I mean, that's good, to be honest, but the shooting mechanic has some weird delays compared to SA1's version. Like, when you play the mech shooting stages in Gamma and SA1, you can actually, you know, mark all enemies at the same time. I know it had a limit of like 15 or 16 in SA1, but in SA2 it's like reduced to like 10 or 12. And most of the time the radar will actually lock on the enemy, which is pretty annoying. And like I said, the mech shooting stages are just way too linear, which also makes them annoying. And also the enemies just pop out of nowhere. Like, what is this? That makes the mech shooting stage in SA2 also annoying. And also some upgrades one can and Eggman gets, which for some reason Tails doesn't get. Like, what is this? I know it's just the upgrades, but all of these together just add up why Sonic Adventure 2 really doesn't surpass Sonic Adventure. Because Sonic Adventure had like the three main mechanics that made the game great. Meanwhile, Sonic Adventure 2 has like only one of them is good. So 1/3 of the entire game is good. Meanwhile, the other thirds are just ass. So that's really what holds the game back from the top 5. Honestly, I always want both adventure games to be remastered, not remaked, because, you know, Sonic Team, they might change the voice actors, so we can't have that. But like I said, I always want the game to be remastered because, like, both of the games really get held back because, you know, some of these issues. Like, let's say if you also want to collect emblems and shit, they don't stack because, like I said, for example, for Sonic Adventure 1, when you try to collect all 130 emblems, the C missions, the first missions will always be like, you know, clear the stage like normal, but the second mission will always be like, collect like 50 rings or 100 rings. Meanwhile, you probably already have done this in the C mission, but you have to do it again. And that's something which is pretty annoying. They don't stack up. In Sonic Adventure 2, it has the same problem, but unlike in Sonic Adventure 1, at least the missions are there differently, so I guess it gets a pass on me. Which is why cyberspace and frontiers actually work, because aside from the physics being ass in that game, which is a topic for another day, at least when you do multiple missions at the same time, they all stack up together. Which I think, if the adventure games get remastered, they should implement that feature. It would make 100% each game actually more fun. Because usually when I play these games, I just skip collecting the emblems. I know I made like a full playthrough for both games, but honestly, if I want to play the adventure games, I really don't want to collect the emblems, cause that shit is annoying. So let's just say, if I had to rank Sonic Adventure 2, just for the story alone, instead of putting it in the A tier or something, let's just put it in the S tier, but definitely above Sonic Adventure DX, because the lighting and everything is just much better, and you have the ranking system and multiplayer. So I think for that it's a better experience overall, but it's definitely not beating Sonic Adventure. Next we have Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. I mean, it's the same game, it's just Metal Sonic is there, Tikal is also there as a playable character in the multiplayer, and it's pretty much the same game. So you know what, I'm also just gonna put Sonic Adventure 2 Battle in the S tier. Next we have Sonic Advance. It's a faithful recreation of the classic titles. Definitely, you have Neo, Green Hill, and some other zones, Egg Rockets. They're pretty fun, especially if you use the air dash for Sonic, cause you can reach top tier speeds, especially the grind panel. You just go flying over the entire stage. It's fun. I mean, the physics need to be worked on a bit, because it's kind of annoying to always use the air dash, cause Sonic is kind of slow in this game, but it's whatever, I guess. So you know what, it's not really that bad, that game. Special stages also have a depth perception issue, but you can go around it by pressing the B button and just doing tricks in it, so that kind of negates it. So if I have to rank this game, to be honest, I'm just gonna put it in the A tier. It's better than Sonic 3, to be honest, cause you have much more things to do, but you don't really play as Super Sonic and Hyper Sonic, so which is kind of a downgrade. But honestly, I would replace Sonic Advance over Sonic 3 and the classic titles, and that's just how I feel. It's one of my favorite Advance titles, so yeah, that is the reason I'm gonna put it in the A tier. Next we have Sonic Advance 2. Sonic Advance 2 is a great game. I love this game. Like, it's a definite improvement over the first Advance game. It's just speed everywhere. When you thought that Sonic Advance 1 was slow, Sonic Advance 2 is just pure speed. It's like Sonic 2. The focus is just on speed. You do nothing else just than speed. I know that the Game Boy Advance screen is also kind of small, but hey, classic Sonic titles at that time were also always in 4:3 or any lower resolution, and I guess it's not worse than the Game Gear version. Yeah, I love Sonic Advance 2. Nothing much to say. It's a great Sonic title, better than Advance 1. So therefore, I would put Sonic Advance 2 on a tier above Sonic Advance, and I would put it in the S tier. It's a great game overall. Nothing bad to say, really. I mean, the special stage entrants are kinda the way. The way you enter the special stages are kind of boring, cause you have to collect like 7 billion SP rings, and if you backtrack once, you might as well just restart the whole zone, but you can just ignore them if you like to. The boss battles are also pretty fun, especially the true final boss. So yeah, which is why I'm definitely gonna put this in the S tier. The boost mode, it just has so much good things, but improve the Advanced series overall, so yeah. Next we have Sonic Pinball Party. I mean, it's fucking Pinball Party. Like, what the hell do you expect? Like, come on, bruh. Pinball Party. It's nothing great that much. I guess if you like pinball, then I guess it will be fun, but honestly, I would put it in the same tier where Sonic Spinball is. Not as, but no, let me take that back. It's better than pinball because you actually can go through multiple zones and it's not that hard. So let's just say I'm gonna put it in the, where am I gonna put this game? Yeah, B tier. Let's just say B tier. Yeah, I think that's fair. Next we have Sonic Battle. Sonic Battle is a pretty decent RPG game. Why do I say RPG game? Because that's literally most of the thing you do. You walk somewhere and talk to people and fight them. I mean, you have Emerald as a playable character, which is literally, at the beginning, he's kind of a weak robot and it's kind of a nuisance, but over time, when you unlock all the skill cards, he just becomes broken, which is pretty fun. But there's one thing that annoys me about Sonic Battle very much. The thing is, like, you have to go through multiple battles, like, multiple times. Like, you can fight them once and you have to kill them, like, 5 times. But then, later on, you have to kill them 10 times, which is pretty annoying. They should have made the game, like, where you can just have to kill them 10 times once and not just 5 and then 10. Because that's just padding at this point, which is pretty boring in my book. So, which is why I'm gonna actually put this game in the, you know, let's say A tier. It's not really that bad because Ultimate Emerald, but you know what? Let's just say A tier. I'm gonna be nice. Next we have Sonic Genesis. The game, who the fuck decided that porting Sonic 1 for the Genesis is a good idea? The concept is good, but the execution is bad. Like, screen crunch, like this shit is so zoomed in, I can't see shit. And the OST makes my ears want to bleed. Come on. Sega, what have you been doing with this? This is the anniversary title. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna put it in the F tier. It's just bad. Next, we have Sonic Heroes. Sonic Heroes is also another great title. It's definitely better than Sonic Adventure 2 in my book. And yeah, the story is worse. But the good things about Sonic Heroes are you can play a speed type, a flying type, and fighting type. You know, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles at the same time. And you literally go through the level design in a unique way. You use all of them at the same time and you can switch as them, which makes you want to think how you're going to go about the level design, which is what I definitely like about this game. The acceleration for Sonic is a bit too fast and kind of a bit too slippery. It's not that bad that I put the game several tiers below. So, well, now let's go over the bad issues about Sonic Heroes. The other teams, you have to go by them multiple times, which is padding, especially for Team Rose and Team Chaotix. They're just straight up trash. It has a soft spot for me, so it definitely needs some improvements, like maybe remove Team Chaotix, but I would play this game very often. So just for that, I'm just gonna put it above Sonic Adventure 2. I'm just gonna put it in the top 5. Next we have Sonic Advance 3. It's a downgrade from Sonic Advance 2 cause, you know, Sonic Advance 3, what do I even say about this game? I don't know really how to feel about this. It's kind of conflicting. It's definitely, I guess, better than the first Advance title. It's not really that much focus on speed, but the air physics kind of make it fun where you can just skip through multiple zones, so I guess that's fun in its own way. And the team up mechanic from Heroes is also there, which greatly improve it. So you know what, I'm just gonna put it in the A tier, but above Sonic Advance. Not S tier quite worthy, but definitely in the A tier. No, I'm gonna put Sonic Advance 3 in the S tier. It's better than Sonic Advance, but not better than Advance 2. But the team up mechanic is pretty nice, so you know what, let's just say S tier, yeah. Shadow the Hedgehog, I mean, it's Shadow the Hedgehog. I mean, Shadow with a gun is pretty cool, to be honest. So I don't even know how to feel about this game. I mean, you shoot characters with a gun. You have Black Doom, which just explains more about Shadow's lore and everything, which is quite nice. Also referencing X-Gens. Look, it's not bad, but it's not that great either. I wouldn't play this compared to the other adventure titles. So you know what? I'm just gonna be nice and put Shadow the Hedgehog in the B tier. It's kind of replayable, but also not really that much. It's kind of conflicting. It's like kind of like Sonic R, to be honest. So let's just say B. Next, we have Sonic Rush. Sonic Rush is the first Boo Sonic game. It's peak, cause the vibes I get from this game, it's just nice. Like you play as Blade, you play as Sonic, you go through leaf zones and other zones. I don't even know what to say about Rush. I just like Rush. It's just a great vibe, a great game, nothing really much to say. I don't even know how I should explain myself. I just like the game that much. I don't know. When I played it, I just loved it because going through the enemies with the boost, actually having the trick system and doing stylish moves and all that stuff, like, it's pretty fun. And with the addition of Blaze, with the air tricks, makes me want to switch both characters sometimes to play each of them. Story is pretty bare bones, but I love Rush. And it should definitely need a remake cause I've been waiting all the time. I wanna play as Blaze in widescreen on my fucking PC on my PS5, like come on. Sonic Rush is just a vibe. There's nothing much to be explained and I'm not gonna explain any further. You know what? You're just gonna have to listen to me. I'm gonna put this in the top 5 cause it's that good. Alright, next we have Sonic Jump. I played it once. It's just a regular platformer. Like, I think for the phone, it's like Doodle Jump. But unlike Infinite Jumper, you have to reach your goal and all that shit. Like, there's not really that much to be said about Sonic Jump. It's a decent game, not that much replayable compared to the others. So you know what? I'm just gonna put it, let's just say C tier. Next, we have Sonic Chronicles. That OST is ass. Who decided that making a Sonic RPG which expands on Emerald's story, which was already pretty good in Sonic Battle, but nigga, going as an RPG again, but somehow even more worse than Battle, and just running around somewhere with no objective, not really doing anything, just holding the stylus and nearly destroying your DS screen because you don't know anything what to do. Like, this game is quite boring. I never got past the first area, to be honest. I'm still stuck there and I never played it since. I'm just gonna put Sonic Chronicles in F tier cause there's not really much to do. It's bad. I don't, there's just nothing I can say about Sonic Chronicles that is good. So yeah. Next we have Sonic Riders. Sonic Riders is definitely one of the best Sonic racing titles ever. The trick system, the extreme gears, Jet. The trick system is just so fun. Extreme gears is fun. The rivalry between Sonic and Jet. Jason Griffith voice. Like, come on. I know Sonic Rush also had Jason Griffith, that's why it's in the top 5, but I forgot to mention it. But yeah, Sonic Riders, it's just a fun time. I just love this game. This game definitely needs to be remastered or remade. We can't just have this game on the GameCube forever, you know? Do I need to say more? This game deserves nothing else but A or S tier. Next, we have Sonic 06. Look guys, I love Sonic 06. Honestly, I would go as far as to put Sonic 06 in the top 5. Because I actually enjoyed the level design. Especially Kingdom Valley, Wave Ocean, Crisis City. I just love these stages, but the Mach Speed sections is just... It should have been the best part of the game, but the thing is, mid-air control. I don't have mid-air control, which makes it bad. The gems are literally not functioning well. They are the most fun part, but that's because they're broken. And that's a sign of bad game design and bad polish. You know? The story, I mean, Sonic's story is... I don't even know how to feel about the Sonic and Elise. Like, God, why do we have a hedgehog corpse getting kissed by a human? What the fuck is this? I love this game. I would honestly put it top 5 because I love the level design and everything. Shadow as a playable character is just nice, and Silver, he needs some more polish, and the Amigo characters are also nice. But if it was finished, I would definitely put it in the top 5 because that level design is crazy. But as the state it's in, it's just gonna have to put in the C tier. Next, we have Sonic P06. I mean, Sonic P06 is Sonic 06 fully realized. It's just peak. Is it better than Sonic Heroes? No. Even Rush? Not really. But this is just Sonic 06 purely realized. Its full potential unleashed. I just like the game cause, you know, Sonic actually feels great. The physics aren't even bad. I don't feel like I'm controlling a feather. Cause the 06 controls, the vanilla 06 controls, it's like when you move the stick slightly, it feels like Sonic is just, I don't know, he has no weight to himself. Meanwhile, Sonic Sonic feels like he's weight to himself. The moveset is more rebalanced. The bounce bracelet feels right. The homing attack also feels more flowingly like the other adventure games, especially like Adventure 1 and Adventure 2 and Heroes. And you have the gems, they're finally fixed, and you actually get Super Sonic as a playable character. And then we have Shadow. Shadow's moveset has been rebalanced. He now can do a homing attack regular and has animations for it. The Chaos Spear can actually stun enemies, and it's not as broken. You can take off the inhibitor rings and have like 4 stages of transformations, which kind of act like a super form. And Silver, oh my god, Silver as a playable character couldn't be any better. ESP shocks, you can move around more freely. There's just so much good about Sonic P06. It's like, come on, this is peak. This is what Sonic 06 should have been from release. This is not going into S tier. This is a top 5 category, but it's definitely below Heroes and Rush. This is definitely top 5, but at the bottom of the top 5. Next we have the Sonic Rivals. Honestly, Sonic Rivals was a pretty decent Sonic title. I have very fond memories playing the game back in my PSP days. Like, I love the game, to be honest. I mean, the name says it's all about the game. You race against every Sonic rival that is popular so far. And yeah, the level choices are also quite interesting. I especially love the OSTs of each stage, which made it pretty fun. The bosses are kind of whatever. Sonic bosses haven't been the greatest. So what's there to say about the bosses? And yeah, you just run around and race your rivals. There's not that much to do about this game. Yeah, and also there's somehow in the future again, and the plot is like literally it's the Eggman from Blaze Dimension taking a photo of everyone and turning them into cards, and you just prevent that from happening. Meanwhile, for some reason, everyone is just racing you and they have the same objective rather than just working together. They just said like, you know what, fuck each other, we doing a race. Like, I mean, it's funny. The plot is kind of funny, to be honest. If I had to rank the game, to be honest, I'm gonna put it in the B tier. It's a solid Sonic game. Not that much to say, not many issues. So yeah. Next we have is Sonic and the Secret Rings. Sonic and the Secret Rings. What do I even say about this game? Let's talk about the good things. The OST. Just banger after banger. I mean, it isn't really that uncommon that Sonic games have, good OST, but I'm just saying anyway. Secret Rings has probably one of the most underrated OSTs in the entire franchise. Like, come on. High and Broken. And the OST selection is pretty good. The level design has a good balance between speed-based and puzzle solving, which is also pretty nice. The story is actually very good. I know it's based on Alibaba and the 40 Robbers, but it managed to adapt Sonic into those stories pretty well. What I also like is like every Sonic character is in the story, but they don't behave like their usual selves, which makes them a bit more unique. And the main villain, Eraser Jin, he is pretty cool. I liked him. He managed to corrupt everyone in his stories and just transcends them at the end, and was nearly able to, transcend the entire storybook series and even nearly Sonic's World 2. And the concept of the World Rings, the purple one I think Rage and the blue one was Sadness. Like the concept of each World Rings, they act like the Chaos Emeralds, which also added a bit more lore to the Sonic franchise, which I also pretty much like. And let's not forget our boy Darkspine Sonic. Like, damn, this man was on fire. He just absorbed like 3 of the 7 World Rings and just ran the fade with Eraser Jin. Like, he just out here throwing combos and shit, just spinning, kicking. Damn, this man was on business. He was not playing around. Honestly, this game, it really had potential. Had you shown what Sonic Team was cooking back in the day. Now, let's go over the negatives, Motion controls. The thing is, what holds Sonic and the Secret Rings back is the motion controls, cause the motion controls aren't really that responsive. And motion controls in general, like, I'm not the biggest fan of motion controls. What would have helped the game is if it had regular controls, like, instead of using the remote controller, you could, I don't know, use the Wii Pro controller, or I don't know, like the GameCube controller, or just something else rather than, the Wii Motion. And Sonic is controlling like a car. The input is not that responsive, and these things hold the game back. The level design is actually good, but bad input design and everything, like, that just makes the game worse. I mean, it's polished, alright, the story is also pretty much banger. It's a decent game. Honestly, if it didn't have these motion controls issues, I would put this game actually in the A tier or S tier maybe, but as it stands now, these issues just hold the game back. I know there's like a project for Sonic and the Secret Rings, Project Reignition, but it isn't in the tier list, so I can't rank it. But let's just say if Project Reignition was in the tier list and if it was finished, then let's just say that version of Secret Rings would definitely be going into the A tier or S tier. But as it stands now, I sadly have to give Sonic and the Secret Rings a solid B tier. Next we have is Sonic Rush Adventure. Sonic Rush Adventure is simply just like Rush. I mean, the levels are slightly inferior, to be honest, but it's not that much of a difference, to be honest. I mean, Sonic handles the same, and the boost is still overpowered. I mean, actually pretty good. And Blaze is also the same. The only thing that annoys me is that damn raccoon. Like, that damn raccoon really can't just shut the fuck up for once. She was annoying. That's why I had to skip all the cutscenes, but that doesn't really take down the game that much. So it's kind of whatever. What kind of holds the game back is the progression system. You have to collect, items, like, you have to collect like resources and build yourself vehicles. And the hovercraft is nice, and the ship is also decent, but the underwater submarine, like, I'm not the biggest fan of it, to be honest. 3 of the vehicles are good, except the submarine, but the submarine is actually it's the most effective vehicle if you want to travel somewhere far, so I guess you have to get it if you want to travel hard. What also kind of holds the game back is you have to collect some items. They don't really get mentioned in the story, but for some reason they just hold your progression for some unknown reason, I don't know why. And what was also bad about the game kinda is you wanted to collect the Chaos Emeralds. I mean, Racing Johnny is decent, but the difficulty spike, you can find the first emerald and then somehow you just stumble against Johnny again, and then you find like the 6th emerald, and like that difficulty spike is insane. And if you lose, then it's pretty much GG's. Hey, at least you can restart every time you want, but that's also something that holds the game back from not being actually on the top 5. But that doesn't really matter that much. I mean, the game is still pretty much good. The bosses are an improvement over the original Sonic Rush. So yeah, with all these positives that overweigh the negatives, honestly, if I had to rank the game, I'm gonna put it in the S tier. It has good things. Yeah, some of the bad things hold it back, and if they probably never existed, it would have been in the top 5, but come on. The top 5 is already full, so if there was a top 10 in my tier list, if I made a roll for it for the top 10, then it would definitely be in the top 10, to be honest. So yeah, that's besides the point. Let's just say S tier. Next we have is Sonic Rivals 2. Honestly, Sonic Rivals 2 is a definite improvement over the first Sonic Rivals. It just feels way more polished. When you try to hit the enemies, it also feels way more polished. More playable characters. Now you have Tails as a playable character. Rouge is now also a playable character. Espio and Silver are also there now. And Metal Sonic 2. Like, the duels in this game are actually quite interesting. And the story is also far more flipped. What is also nice about the game is that this game was actually way more competitive compared to its first game. The Act 2s and the boss fights were pretty much, you either fight your rival in the knockout battle, or you just collect chows, or collect rings, or you play tag. And the boss battles were pretty much whoever beats Eggman first wins. It actually was a very good concept of the game, and also has multiple outfits to unlock. So it's basically also the first Sonic game that has customization. No wonder Sonic Forces actually got the customization. It wasn't that Sonic Forces had customization as its first idea, it's just it stole that even from Sonic Rivals 2. Bruh, shout. I mean, it's still the same concept, but now they're just in Sonic's world, and pretty much just Sonic Rivals, but more polished and improved. It's not enough to save the game from the B tier, to be honest, cause the level design is quite still the same thing, but the OST is an upgrade too. So you know what, I'm just gonna still say B tier, but above Sonic Rivals. I think that's fair. Next we have Sonic Riders Zero Gravity. Zero Gravity is also pretty much underrated, but it's inferior to the original Sonic Riders, cause you know, you can't really boost with the extreme gears. Instead you have to do the gravity mechanic where you just, you know, stop time and you use it to turn around. It's an alternative, I guess, but you know, you're not really fast and stylish like in the original Sonic Riders. And the trick system, yeah, it's budget, come on. Like, meanwhile in Riders you can spin the L stick in every direction and Sonic just does crazy tricks. Meanwhile in Zero Gravity, you just hold the A button and when he does a trick, it's completely automated. Like, come on, bruh. That's like the reason why Sonic Riders Zero Gravity for me is not going into the S tier. It's Sonic Riders but nerfed. I mean, the story is pretty much the same. I guess it's kind of an improvement, but it's not really that much noticeable. Maybe if Sonic Riders Zero Gravity had mixed the gravity mechanics with the boost, and maybe the tricks weren't butchered, like maybe it could have been in potentially the S tier even. But as it stands now, like, it's just Sonic Riders but nerfed. So you know what, I'm just gonna put it in the A tier. It is what it is. Next we have is Sonic Unleashed. And yeah, Sonic Unleashed, I'm gonna say it, it's the best boost Sonic game of all time. It's Sonic Rush but just way better. 3D, you can actually travel everywhere. The daytime stages are pretty good. Savannah Citadel, Rooftop Run, Dragon Road, Skyscraper Scraper, Eggman Land. Do I need to say more? This game is absolute peak. The Werehog is also pretty much underrated. I know it's not as good as Daytime Sonic, cause Daytime Sonic is like, level design is pretty fast, but the beat 'em up playstyle, which is like God of War, I'm a God of War fan, so I really don't have anything against the Werehog. So I pretty much love it. It's good if you want to take a break from, you know, playing so much as Daytime Sonic. It's decent. The story is also decent, you know. I mean, it's not Adventure 2 level, cause Adventure 2 level story, like that shit is top tier. Like, come on, let's just not kid ourselves. But yeah, Sonic Unleashed story is solid. The relationship with Sonic and Chip, it's cool. Yeah, I like it. The CGI presentation, like, golly, these niggas, they were cooking in the studios. The Sonic team, they weren't playing around. The CGI was insane. Damn, every cutscene, in fact, it felt like every cutscene is actually CGI. Like, god damn it, they really cooked with the Hedgehog Engine 1. Yeah, honestly, Sonic Unleashed is just a very, very good game. Like, this game is just absolute cinema. I mean, it's not on the level of Sonic Adventure. I love Sonic Adventure, but it's damn near very close. So if I'm gonna rank Sonic Unleashed, it's definitely not going into the A tier or the B tier or something low. Like, damn, nah. This game is not even going to S tier. Nah, it's going straight into the top 5, but behind Sonic Adventure, let's be real. I mean, I can also understand if some people would rank it as the highest, as the best Sonic game of all time. But for me, like Sonic Adventure is very open-ended, and the spin dash is like quite broken. It helps traversing through the levels, and it's very good. So yeah, you know how I feel about Adventure 1. But Sonic Unleashed is damn near close as a great game overall. That's why it's going into the top 5, but behind Sonic Adventure. Next we have the Wii version and the PS2 version of Sonic Unleashed. Let's just rank the PS2 version first. The PS2 version is like pretty much a downgrade from the Wii version and from the HD version. Like many levels were cut down, especially Savannah Citadel and Skyscraper Scramper, I think. Like, it's a downgrade. I mean, With My Owl is an improvement over the original, especially Act 1 and Act 2. But yeah, I forgot to also mention the DLCs from the HD version, but that doesn't matter, it's also good. But we already ranked that. The other levels like Rooftop Run, I mean, they're solid recreations. I mean, Dims did a good job, I guess. I mean, they did a good job, but I don't know. Most iconic versions from the HD version are just lost. The Warhog is actually just trash. Like, come on. Why do I need to punch the enemies with the left trigger and the right trigger? Like, and it's not really that responsive. And if you're trying to grab something, like, it doesn't even work. Like, what is this? The Warhog in the Wii version just doesn't function. I mean, Eggman Land is easier in PS2 and the Wii version than in the HD version. The daytime stages are a downgrade, but they're not really bad. They're good, but the night stages, they're just ass. Like, come on. Why does the Warhog not work? Like, this is stupid. So every time I actually play the Wii version or the PS2 version of Unleashed, I just play the daytime stages. And yeah, the final boss is also much of an upgrade. You actually box against Dark Gaia, so that's an upgrade. And yeah, but fundamentally the Wii version of Unleashed and the PS2 version are pretty much the same. And yeah, what's also great about these versions is you don't have to collect the medals anymore. Depending on your rank, you actually get even more medals. You can get up to 5, I think. If I had to rank the PS2 version and the Wii version, actually, I'm just gonna put both in the B tier. Next we have Sonic Unleashed for the Java. What? Wait, Sonic Unleashed was, oh damn, I forgot that Sonic Unleashed was released on a phone. I think for one of those Java phones. I mean, damn, bro. If you think that the PS2 version and the Wii version are a downgrade of the HD version, like, golly, the mobile version is like a downgrade of all three combined. What is this? The level design is pretty much bare bones. FPS stability is non-existent. The Warhog is also ass. Like, I don't even know what to say about this version. It's not F tier because it's functional, I guess, and it kind of works, but that version isn't even great that much, and I wouldn't even replay it compared to games like, you know, Sonic Dash or anything. So honestly, if I have to rank the mobile version of Unleashed, it's definitely going into the D tier. Like, I don't even know what to say about this version. Next we have Sonic and the Black Knight. Sonic and the Black Knight is definitely an improvement over Sonic and the Secret Rings. The motion controls are actually functional. Sonic has a fucking sword and he's just styling on everyone. This man was moving like, damn it. The OST is very good. It's an upgrade from Secret Rings. Night of the Wind. Do I need to say more? The story? Like, this game is solid in every way possible. The playable characters are also pretty much fun. It has a parry system. It's all fire. The upgrade, like in Secret Rings, are also fire. They also enhance the game. Like, the final boss is also pretty much good. Like, this game is pretty much very solid. If I have to rank the game, I'm putting this game in the A tier. It's reaching near S tier. Like, they need to remake this game at all costs. Next we have Sega Tennis. I mean, it's just tennis, you know? It's tennis, guys, bro. I mean, it's solid. I guess you can play it most of the times. You can play as Supersonic if you collect more points, I think. I mean, it's exactly like Sonic and All-Stars Racing. So, you know what? This game is pretty much solid. I'm just gonna put it in the, you know, B tier. It's replayable, alright, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. But I would play it, honestly. It's not bad, so it's decent. So let's just say B tier. Next we have Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. I can't believe they budget the extreme gears over, you know, cars. But that's preference. That's preference. I mean, it's solid. You have multiple Sega exclusive characters like Knight and everything. I think you also had some Disney characters in the HD versions. Like, honestly, I only played the Wii version, but they're pretty much the same game. Like, this game is pretty decent. The tracks are also pretty nice, but I think there are too many city levels. It's kind of nitpick. There are like way too many city levels and they just all play the same most of the time. But hey, it is what it is. So let's just say B tier. Next we have Sonic 4 Episode 1. I mean, look, Sonic 4 Episode 1 It's not the worst Sonic game, but it's not the best either. I mean, you don't really have the momentum-based level design, you just have to use the air dash all the time and homing attack chains. And most zones are rip-offs. Splash Hill is really just Green Hill, like come on. They really didn't want to use Green Hill, so they just said, you know what? Let's just make a new zone, somewhat original, but it's still grassy themed and everything, so we're just gonna call it Splash Hill, but fans are not gonna realize that this is actually Green Hill. Like that's how Sonic 4 felt. Like most zones are just from Sonic 1. I mean, the special stages are alright, cause you really don't control Sonic, you control the board as a whole. So that's an upgrade and you can actually reset at any time without losing a life. So yeah, that's also solid. But like I said, most levels are rip-offs. I think it should have used more of the momentum-based level design and shouldn't call itself, you know, Sonic 4, cause it had to live up to Sonic 3, and you know how I feel about Sonic 3. It tried to be a classic game but failed miserably. But it's not really that bad, so you know what, I'm just gonna be nice and put the game in the C tier. Next we have Sonic Free Riders. Fuck this game. This game is stupid. The controlling system is ass. Like, why do I have to use the Kinect? That shit isn't even responsive. Like, when you thought that Secret Rings wasn't responsive, but this shit takes it to a whole new level. You have to stand on this shit and you have to move your in some directions, and at half the time like didn't work. It caused me back pain and all that shit. Like if a game had to physically hurt me, like, come on, what is this? Yes, it had the boost again from Sonic Riders and the trick system is still butchered, but the game just doesn't work. It literally doesn't work. It's unplayable. Even most bad Sonic games, they don't physically hurt you, maybe mentally a bit, but if it starts to physically hurt me while playing the game and half the time not even working, like what the fuck is this? F tier, like fuck this game. Next we have a Sonic Colors. Sonic Colors is alright, I guess, cause I mean, yeah, the story, they fucked up with the story. They fucked up the story pretty bad. Like, they went from serious tone to, you know,
baldy nose hair.
But whatever, that's besides the point. The level design is solid, but I don't know. There's just something that's off about the game. Maybe it's too easy. I mean, yes, it's easy, but collecting the red rings and the use of the wisp are actually good. They make the game actually more replayable because you have to collect that sweet colors bonus to get that S ring. And if you play Sonic Colors without collecting the red rings, it's plain. And yeah, it has way too many filler levels. Yeah, that's annoying, but it doesn't really take the game down that much. But like I said, these filler levels are ass. You just don't do anything. I can just, you know, instead of playing the filler levels, I can just make myself a sandwich or something. I just mostly play the Act 1s, and the Act 1s aren't even that. We just came from Unleashed, and this is the next mainline Sonic game. Yes, it's kind of solid. It doesn't have the Werehog. I guess that's an improvement for some people, but the level design isn't really that interactive aside from collecting the red rings. I don't know. I expected far more from the game. So to be honest, I'm just gonna be nice and give this game a B tier. It's not bad, but I think it's just a bit too easy. The level design is not that engaging aside from collecting the red rings. Maybe if it was a bit more engaging, like, you know, Unleashed or the adventure titles, then it would get at least an A tier. But as it stands now, you know what, it's solid, it's okay. Not the biggest fan of it, so I'm just gonna put it in the B tier. Next we have Sonic Colors DS. I mean, Sonic Colors DS is an improvement over the Wii version. It's like a mix of Sonic Rush Adventure, and Sonic Colors on the Wii. But it takes slightly more from Rush. The level designs are kind of more interacting, but you platform way more. I forgot to mention that Sonic Colors on the Wii was pretty much way too much 2D. Like, there was more 2D than 3D, but that's besides the point. The filler levels aren't actually really that bad. They're way more interactive compared to its Wii counterpart. You actually do something like maybe collect rings, or at least something else. You just maybe do missions, destroy enemies and shit. You just do something instead of doing nothing. And yeah, for some reason, everyone of Sonic's cast has found their way to, you know, to the wisps, and they're just chilling there rather than just helping. I mean, yeah, it's solid. It's not on Rush Adventure level, to be honest, but it's cool. It's cool. I like it. It's pretty solid. It's actually good. I'm gonna put Sonic Colors DS a tier above its Wii counterpart. I'm just gonna be in the A tier. Next we have is Sonic Colors Ultimate. I mean, Sonic Colors Ultimate is ass. Like, I can't even defend this game that much. Remember when I put Sonic Adventure DX in the S tier? I only put it in the S tier because it's fundamentally the same in terms of level design, and it has some improvements, you know, 60 FPS and everything. Colors Ultimate has some of the things, but the thing is, the release was just ass. Like, why did the Switch version had, you know, seizure-inducing glitches? It just, you know, some other versions, it had sound problems. De novo again, there was just so much wrong. It was goddamn near unplayable at sometimes. It just erases your save file. The sound quality doesn't work. For some reason, I can't toggle the remixes if I want to listen to the remixes or to the original OST. And yeah, let's go over the remixes. Some remixes were good, like the boss fights or Starlight Carnival, Aquarium Park, and Asteroid Coaster, and Terminal Velocity. Like, yeah, these remixes were nice, but Tropical Resort and Sweet Mountain, that shit was straight up ass. Like, I don't know what they were cooking with this. This was ass. And yeah, I mean, it's fundamentally, now that the patches have come out, actually playable, and the slowdowns aren't really that common anymore. But the thing is, when it got released, the release status was ass. It was goddamn near unplayable at times, most of the time. So like, it hurts me to say this, honestly. Like, I would have given this game a B tier if it didn't have these issues at release. But when I bought the game at release and I couldn't play it, like, that shit was ass. I was pretty much disappointed. Like, yes, it has 60 FPS, it's played on a different engine, has some improvements over the regular version of Sonic Colors. Like, you can actually, you know, make a perfect homing attack to collect more wisp and get more boost energy. But, you know, the release status wasn't good and it was unplayable. So that's why I'm just gonna put Sonic Colors Ultimate in F tier. It's sad. It actually doesn't deserve it because, you know, gameplay is pretty much still the same like in the Wii version, but just because of the release status, I'm just gonna have to put it in F tier. How it was released was unacceptable. Next we have Sonic Colors Project Blue Rainbow. Honestly, I don't know how I should rank the game because, you know, Colors Blue Rainbow is a mod for Sonic Colors Ultimate. It came out at the time where Sonic Colors Ultimate was actually more stable and it was actually more playable, so, and it didn't have the same glitches as Sonic Colors Ultimate had in the release. I mean, the mod doesn't really fix, you know, the fundamental gameplay issues, but let's be real, Sonic Colors really didn't have fundamental gameplay issues. Yes, it has 2D, way too much, but look, I ranked regular Sonic Colors in B tier, so I think, yeah, Colors Blue Rainbow should also be added in the B tier because not only does it improve over regular Sonic Colors the lighting, but also the lighting from Sonic Colors Ultimate, making it match more the later Sonic games like, you know, Sonic Forces, Sonic Generations, and even past Sonic games like Sonic Unleashed. I mean, it's not on the level on Sonic Unleashed, but it's going in the same direction. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna be nice, and since I enjoyed the mod, I'm just gonna put it in the B tier on the same level of Sonic Colors for the Wii. Yeah. Next we have the Sonic Generations. Look guys, you're gonna have to hear me out on this one. You know, Sonic Generations, it's a good game, to be honest. I like it, but I don't know, some levels, like specifically from the adventure era, like City Escape, it doesn't really match the regular version from Sonic Adventure 2. And yeah, it does improve over most levels, but I don't know, it's like, it's mostly just 2D. Like, classic Sonic's 2D was actually good because, you know, it wasn't an exact replica of the Genesis games, but the spin dash made it pretty much fun. But modern Sonic in 2D, like, why do I want to play as modern Sonic in 2D when he's inferior to classic Sonic in 2D? I mean, this is a nitpick on me, but that's what kind of holds the game back a bit for me from S tier. And yeah, some levels, I guess you can beat them with one finger, but that's just Green Hill. But aside from that, the reimagined level design is pretty good and everything. Like, yeah, it's a decent game. I mean, definitely better than Colors for me. Not to say that Colors is bad, but I don't know. I'm not the ultimate biggest fan of Generations. Like, I don't know. I guess it's a solid game. I don't know how to feel about this. I mean, it's pretty decent. Like, to be honest, mods carried the game more than the actual game. Like, the modded level design was pretty much crazy, but we're talking about vanilla Generations. Like, I played too much mods with Generations that I stopped enjoying the regular Generations, to be honest. So you know what? Generations isn't bad, but I'm not putting it in S tier. You know what? I'm just gonna put it in A tier. Next, we have the Unleashed Project mod. I mean, the Unleashed Project mod is just basically Sonic Unleashed daytime stages ported to Generations. And if you like Unleashed stages, then you would definitely like this. And I put Unleashed in the top 5, so I can't put the Unleashed Project in top 5. It objectively should, cause it has the exact level design, but I can't. So I'm just gonna put the Unleashed project in the S tier. Next we have is Sonic Generations 3DS. The 3DS version is inferior to the console version. I mean, it had a few other level choices, you know. It replaced the levels from the regular console version of Generations with some newer ones. Instead of City Escape, we have Radical Highway. Instead of Speed Highway, we have Emerald Coast. And we also had like stages like, you know, Water Palace from Sonic Rush. I mean, it's a good choice, but I don't know. It's just inferior to the console version, especially like, you know, Classic Sonic gets the homing attack earlier rather than as a bonus in the console version where you can actually unlock it, and the level design is after that just becomes homing attack chain after homing attack chain for Classic Sonic. And modern Sonic's level design, like, I don't know why they didn't take inspiration from the Rush level design like Colors DS did, but it had a good final boss compared to its console version. So yeah, so honestly I'm just gonna put Sonic Generations 3DS in the B tier. Next we have a Shadow Generations. Shadow Generation, it's an improvement over regular Generations. Let's not kid ourselves. I mean, is he slower compared to than in Sonic Generations? Yes, but the level design is actually way more open. They took like some cyberspace levels from Frontiers, especially the Far Dash levels, and mixed it with Seaside Hill from Sonic Generations, and they just expanded it, and the moveset which you can do with Chaos Control, stopping time. Shadow Generations is actually pretty much fun. It's very good. It doesn't have the same issues that Frontiers has. It's way more polished, the cinematics. This game actually feels like a AAA game, and the last AAA game we had was literally Sonic Unleashed. Honestly, there's not really much bad about Shadow Generations except the Doom Morph. The Doom Morph is pretty much booty cheeks because the swinging mechanic is ass. But aside from that, everything is good. And they actually took levels from Forces and even Frontiers and made them better. Like damn, they actually made a Forces level fun. And Kingdom Valley, like Kingdom Valley Act 1 and Act 2, these were the best acts. The 2D levels are like on Colors level. I think they're between Colors and Generations. Honestly, when I wanted to play the Act 2s of Shadow Generations, I actually expected like, you know, I don't know, like somewhat near Unleashed type level design of 2D, but I guess 2D hasn't been the same since Unleashed, so it is what it is. That shouldn't bring the game down that much. So honestly, yeah. And did I mention Black Doom? Like the final boss was also crazy. But what was annoying about Shadow Generations, like for some reason, Black Doom just always takes us to Radical Highway. Like I bet this man is just saying to Shadow like,
why do you keep taking me back to Radical Highway? I just think Radical Highway is so cool.
Sonic Team really just transports us to Radical Highway like all the time. Like we nearly the same amount of Radical Highway as Green Hill Zone was in the past Sonic games up to Frontiers. Nearly to Frontiers. Like damn, why do we need to go through Radical Highway multiple times? I mean, it's not bad level design, but come on. I expected like, you know, maybe a few other levels like the Black Comet from Shadow the Hedgehog, Lethal Highway. There are some nitpicks I have with Shadow Generations. Same with Sonic Generations, but it is what it is. I guess you can't do much about it. And yeah, the DLC stage for Shadow Generations was also pretty much fun. I mean, it was mostly cinematic, let's be real. I think it's some of the lowest type of level design compared to the other stages, but the cinematic was crazy. Like all that added together, I think Shadow Generations should get an S tier in terms of the presentation and gameplay. As for Sonic X Shadow the package, if we put Shadow Generations in S tier, I think Sonic X Shadow should also be in the S tier. Yes, Sonic Generations is a bit inferior because the level design isn't really that open, and I think I really like open-ended level design. So yeah, I think Sonic Shadow Generations should be put in the S tier, to be honest. Next we have Sonic 4 Episode 2. I mean, Sonic 4 Episode 2 is an improvement over Sonic 4 Episode 1. Yes, it has a bit more momentum based level design and some of the levels are original, but Sonic 4 Episode 2 is like the, you know, meanwhile Sonic 4 Episode 1 was just copying shit, like, you know, copying your friend's homework and making it somehow even worse. And Sonic 4 Episode 2 is like, you know what, I'm mediocre and I just accept it. It's not really that bad, I guess decent. I mean, they're not trash, but I don't know. You know what, I'm just gonna put Sonic 4 Episode 2 in the B tier. It is what it is. Yeah, next we have Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. I mean, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed is an improvement over Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. I mean, you have the same amount of characters as in the previous racing games, and the transforming mechanic was pretty much fun, especially the flying mechanic. Like, I have fond memories, like playing it with my friends on the PS3. Like, damn, I always like the flying mechanic. And the boat, I guess it's not my type. I don't really like the boat mechanic that much, but it is what it is. It's pretty much very unique. like just an improvement over the previous Sonic Racing title. So I think Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed should be put in the A tier, to be honest. Next we have a Sonic Jump Fever. Sonic Jump Fever is exactly like Sonic Jump, but unlike Sonic Jump, Sonic Jump Fever is exactly like original Sonic Jump from 2012. I think the only difference is like you don't have a goal to reach, but it's like do the jump. It's exactly an infinite jumper, but there's actually more hazards in the way, and yeah, it's a bit more engaging, but it's not really that much of an improvement compared to Sonic Jump. It's literally just the same game, so I rank the regular Sonic Jump in C tier, so I just rank Sonic Jump Fever also in the C tier. Next we have a Sonic Lost World. Sonic Lost World, look, some people love it, some people hate it. Me, I think it's decent, it's okay. Not the greatest Sonic game. It takes hella inspiration of Mario Galaxy, especially with the turnarounds. And for some reason, Sonic has a run button, which I think it's pretty much odd when his mechanic is just based on building momentum, especially in the adventure and classic games. And yeah, Spin Dash is there. I guess the Spin Dash is decent. Sonic is a bit slow, to be honest, and his turning, I don't know, it's a bit stiff. The parkour system is underused, to be honest, and the whispery turn for some unknown reason. The Lost Hex, I guess some levels are decent, but it's like the grass theme, the beach theme, like it tries so hard to copy New Super Mario Bros. And Mario Galaxy, like it's not even funny anymore. And the Sinister Six, Zavok, they're just ass. Like, what can I say? They're just ass. Yeah, and the final boss is pretty much fun. And yeah, you homing attack and you do some stylish tricks on him. I guess it's decent. I think the only bad level of Lost World is like the one snow level where you turn into a snowball, and that's pretty much ass, but all the other levels are decent at best. So you know what? It's an okay Sonic game. I would replay it, honestly. I'm just gonna put Sonic Lost World in the B tier. Next we have Sonic Lost World 3DS. Lost World 3DS is pretty much the same game, no downgrades. I guess the level design is a bit more better because they actually use more of the parkour system, and it has some exclusive wisps, which are actually pretty fun, to be honest. And it also has a bonus hard mode when you finish the game and collect all emeralds. Yeah, that's also pretty much fun. So it may not look the same appealing like the console version or the Steam version, but it had some compromises which make the game around the same level, and it actually improved some of the level design. So you know what? It's not good enough to be in the A tier, but I think a solid B tier should suffice. Next we have a Sonic Dash. Sonic Dash is a pretty decent Sonic game. It's another infinite runner. I guess it's okay. Not that much engaging, to be honest. I guess it's kind of better than Sonic Jump, but it's not enough to get it away out of the C tier, to be honest. So I'm just gonna say C tier. As for Sonic Dash Plus, it's pretty much still Sonic Dash, the same game, so not that much to say. So I'm also gonna put this in the C tier. Next we have the Sonic Runners. Sonic Runners is a pretty decent Sonic game. I still remember the day I played it for the first time. Like, God, I have very good memories of this game. Yes, it came out after Sonic Lost World, but it had the team-based mechanic from Sonic Heroes, beat characters, flying type characters, and fighting characters. Basically just also another infinite runner, but it's way more engaging than Sonic Dash and even the other mobile Sonic games, Sonic Jumpman, etc. The way you increase your speed every single time you just hit Eggman and just defeat him, and he just escapes. You just get faster and faster and faster until you reach the top speed, and you won't even get rings anymore. Past I usually always died, but it's whatever, but nowadays like rarely dying in this game. Pretty fun. Yeah, and the Russian roulette, I think that's the only bad part because, I had to spend way too much money to get the other characters, but that was a skill issue on me. I find it pretty sad that, the servers are now down and you can't really play the game anymore, but it is what it is. I think now the only way to play the game is if you get an APK, I think there's Hand Project or Revival, Sonic Runners called Sonic Runners Revival, that's the only way to play the game right now, but it's still the same game. Yes, thing is, you don't need to buy shit anymore because now you only pay with in-game currency rather than microtransactions. So yeah, to be honest, the only biggest flaw of Sonic Runners was the microtransaction. If it wasn't for the microtransaction, then maybe the servers would be up today, but it is what it is. See, pretty decent Sonic game. Story is kind of bare bones, but come on, mobile Sonic games, you really play mobile Sonic games for the story? It's a pretty decent Sonic game. Honestly, I like it. I would honestly replay it every time if I had the chance to. So if I had to rank Sonic Runners, to be honest, I'm gonna put it in the B tier. High B tier or low A. It can be either way. Next we have Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. Or should I say Sonic Boom Rise of Mid. Like, this game is just mid, to be honest. Like, what was Sonic Team thinking? Damn it, the level design is puzzle solving. Like, I don't know what am I playing. Like, Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, I played it like once and I never wanted to touch it again. It feels like Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric is like a mix of The Legend of Zelda, somewhat of Sonic gameplay, but they didn't understand what made The Legend of Zelda and the Sonic gameplay pretty much fun. Yes, The Legend of Zelda had the combat and the puzzle solving, but you know, the combat and the puzzle solving in Rise of Lyric compared to that game is pretty much ass. And the Sonic style gameplay mechanic like speed and traversal is like pretty much non-existent. I mean, yeah, it had some good animations and shit, but this game is just mid. I don't know, I don't like it. And Sonic's design, it's ass. The animations are pretty good. Knuckles is buff and dumb. I guess Amy's character is a bit less annoying. And there are many glitches for some reason, and it has very, very poor FPS stability. You know what? This game is just bad. These issues are pretty much like make the game unplayable and pretty much very boring. So I can't even put it in the D tier. So I'm gonna have to put Rise of Lyric in the F tier. Next we have Sonic Boom Shadow Crystal. I mean, I played a demo and I never bought the game. It's an improvement over Rise of Mid, but come on, is Shadow Crystal really that good? Yes, it has a bit more platforming and more speedy aspects, but I don't know. You know what? I'm just gonna be nice and put Sonic Boom Shadow Crystal in the C tier. Next we have Sonic Dash 2, or just Sonic Boom. Again, pretty much the same game, another infinite runner. Like, they're not really that engaging, so it's not bad, but I'm also gonna put it in the C tier. Next we have Sonic Boom Fire and Ice. I mean, the Fire and Ice mechanic make the game a bit more unique, I guess, and the level design is a bit more fluently, but honestly, as a core, it's pretty much the same like Shadow Crystal. I never liked Shadow Crystal that much, and I also don't like Fire and Ice that much, so you know what? I don't think they're D tier, but you know what? I'm just gonna put Sonic Boom Fire and Ice in the C tier. Next we have Sonic Mania. I think we all just have to agree that, I'm just gonna say it, Sonic Mania has better gameplay than Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I know this is controversial, but you gotta have to hear me out. Like, the game is so fluid, like the physics is pretty much exact recreation of the Genesis classic Sonic titles. The level design is more expanded. Like, yes, it takes levels from the previous Genesis Sonic titles, but it makes them unique. Like how Green Hill in Sonic Mania is a mix of, you know, Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3 from the Genesis version, and also having some interesting bosses. Like, the mini bosses are some scrapped concept from Sonic 3 and Sonic 2, I think. The OST from T-Lopes, Christian Whiten and everything, like, it's pretty nice. And the Act 2s are just straight up new level designs. Metallic Madness OST, especially Act 2, like, come on. This game, it feels like a love letter to classic Sonic fans. Like, I pretty much love this game, and since it's better than Sonic 3 and Knuckles, like, you know, normally I would put this game in the S tier, but like I said, for me, no classic Sonic game actually deserves the S tier compared to the other Sonic games on this list. So you know what? I'm just gonna say that Sonic Mania clearly and definitely deserves the A tier. Yeah. Next we have Sonic Forces. Oh god, I wish this game never existed. This game is just boring. Like, god damn it, Sonic Team, why can't you just make a good 3D Sonic game? Like, do we even need to talk about Sonic Forces? Like, look, it's not bad, but it's boring. Like, the level design is pretty much non-existent. It's surface level input. That's all I'm gonna say. It's surface level input. The story is non-existent. Infinite as a villain is like, yeah, Shadow beat you up and now you're a villain. What is this? And platforming, ass. Modern Sonic's physics, like, I can't turn around, and when I want to turn around, especially in Metropolitan Highway, it just turns for me. Like, what's next? Is Sonic Forces actually gonna pay my taxes next? That's crazy. Classic Sonic? Do we need to talk about Classic Sonic? Yes, it's the same Classic Sonic from Sonic Mania. Are we really just gonna accept that Sonic Generations had a better Classic Sonic than Forces? It should normally have pretty much the same physics, but for some reason Sonic Team just fucked up with the physics. Platforming with Classic Sonic is pretty much ass. You wanna kill yourself if you do platforming with this man. And the Avatar, I mean, the Avatar is just like making fan characters like Sonic Chew in the game. I guess the cosmetic is a good thing, but it just feels like the Avatar is just modern Sonic but without the boost. So I guess modern Sonic and classic Sonic, no, modern Sonic and the Avatar are okay or bad. I mean, yes, the Avatar had slightly better turning, but you wouldn't notice that shit. And yes, modern Sonic had the air boost, which skipped a lot of the level design. Like, I don't know, Sonic Forces is just, it could have been a great Sonic game. Maybe if it polished, you know, the level design and took its story a bit more seriously rather than just making them a shell of themselves. Sonic Forces could have been a solid A-tier game. Look how it was released, like, it's not glitchy, it's polished, but it's just very bad level design. Surface level input and shit, like, what is this? Chaos doesn't even have a boss, even though you meet him. The story, like, they made Tails so dirty, like, remember in SA1 where Tails stood up for himself? Yeah, this man is just cowering in fear, just turning his back and spreading his fox cheeks open. My god damn it, bro, what is this? Like, you know what? Sonic Forces is going into the D tier. No questions asked. Next, we have Sonic Runners Adventure. Sonic Runners Adventure, it's a downgrade from Sonic Runners, to be honest, because, you know, what made Sonic Runners great was it was actually more engaging and shit. Like, yes, it was more engaging, that's it. But as a core, it's still the same game. Sonic Runners Adventure, it's like, it's a bit too easy. Like, I don't even know what to say about this game. So, you know what? I'm just gonna put Sonic Runners Adventure in the C tier. Next, we have Sonic Forces Speed Battle. I'm not the biggest fan of these mobile Sonic titles. I mean, it's the same like Sonic Dash. I guess it's a bit more engaging, but I don't see what should make the game be put in the B tier for me, or even the A tier compared to the other games. So, you know what? I'm just gonna be nice and put Sonic Forces Speed Battle in C tier. Next, we have Sonic Mania Plus. I mean, Sonic Mania Plus is pretty much like Sonic Mania, but the only difference is like Mighty and Ray are actually in the game, and it has an encore mode which actually somewhat improves the level design and makes it a bit harder. There's not much to say about Mania Plus. It's pretty much just the same game. So if I put Sonic Mania in A tier, Sonic Mania Plus is also going into the A tier. Next, we have a Sonic Force Overclocked. I can't believe that I'm gonna say this. Sonic Forces, but actually good? I gotta be living in another reality. Like, damn. Sonic Forces Overclocked is something I didn't thought that I needed. Like, this game, it's actually nice, it's decent, it's cool. Like, when I played it for the first time, damn, it was tough to getting used to. Like, everything was just so much faster, you had to react in split seconds. Like, the cinematics and everything, like, god. It's not on Sonic X Shadow type of cinematics level, but the split second reaction times, Sonic feeling actually good to be handled. The automation is actually way less than in regular Sonic Forces. Like, damn. The physics are actually pretty good. I argue that these physics are actually even better than Generation and Unleashed in terms of handling. Like, this is not something what I expected, and it's mostly 3D. There's rarely any 2D. Even the 2D level design is way more engaging than I expected. Like, honestly, when I played Sonic Forces Overclocked, the 2D shit reminded me kind of Sonic Unleashed. Like, it's good. When it comes to 2D, it's pretty good. But when it comes to 3D, like, yeah, it's nice. It's very close on reaching the highs of Generations and Unleashed. It's very close. But what holds the game kind of a bit back is sometimes when you try to control yourself with the boost, like, you really can't turn, and sometimes it really just feels like regular forces, especially when they're like straight lines. Like, it doesn't help you turn around, but if you're trying to move a bit like to the left or to the right, it's a bit hard, but it's not as bad as in Forces. And the modders keep getting updated. But from the last release I played, like, honestly, it's pretty good. The story takes itself way more seriously. There are corny jokes anymore that much. Metal Sonic returns in his Neo form and with the Phantom Ruby and Infinite actually being badass. With Metal Sonic, both of them teaming up against Sonic, like, damn. The character development with Sonic and the Rookie and the other characters, they actually feel important and they don't do nothing. They also didn't do nothing in regular Forces, but here they just feel way more alive and, you know, how they should act. They don't feel like the shells of themselves. Honestly, when it comes to story, Sonic Forces Overclocked is an A tier. And in gameplay, like, honestly, Sonic Force Overclock could be either in the A tier or in the B tier for me. It's positively good. The final boss and the OST is banger. It's just banger. There's rarely any issues, and the fun moments when you try to hurt a Dark Omo Shell, you just get killed. Like, this game, it's actually fun. Like, you know what? If I had to rank Sonic Forces Overclocked, it's not on the level of Generations on Unleashed quite yet, but it's damn near close. So for me, I'm just gonna put it either as a low A tier or as a high B tier. You know what? I'm just gonna put it as a high B tier. It's not quite on the level on, like, you know, the other A tier games, but it's coming very, very damn close. So you know what? For the version I played, it's a high B tier. But for the newer version, which I need to try out, like, I'll probably shout out if the newer version is even better, and from the level design improvement what I see of the newer version, like, you know what? Newer version is a clear A tier, but not S, but the version I played, I'm gonna say B tier, yeah. But it's a high B tier. I think a high B tier should suffice. Next we have Team Sonic Racing. How do I feel about Team Sonic Racing? Like, Team Sonic Racing is kind of a downgrade compared to, you know, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. Like, you don't really have the flying mechanic or the boat mechanic. I never liked the boat mechanic that much, but at least it made the game more unique. So that's kind of a downgrade for me. But I think as a whole, it's okay, it's good. So I played it a bunch when I bought it. What do I even say? I just gotta look at the tier list for a sec. So you know what, I don't know, I'm just gonna put it in B tier. No comment. Next we have the Sonic Origins. I mean, Sonic Origins, it's a solid way to play the classic Sonic titles, you know, Sonic 1, Sonic CD, Sonic 2, Sonic 3. I mean, it's a pretty solid way. Yes, the release had the new and it had some slowdowns, and from what I've heard, it had pretty much so many glitches. I think some people reported it, but I never encountered these glitches, so I can't really talk on those one. Yes, the physics are not exactly the same like the original Genesis version, but I don't think it brings the game down that much. Sonic 3 is pretty much what I expected in widescreen. It's more fluently, nearly on the same level like Sonic Mania, like, yeah. But the other classic Sonic titles need improvement in terms of the physics and, you know, fluid rotations. And yeah, the drop dash is exactly like in Mania for Sonic 3. For the other ones, at the release, you know, they had the roll lock option, especially Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. Like, it just felt weird, the drop dash for Sonic 1 up to Sonic 2 when it released, but like I said, it's not really that much, and it's fixed now. So you know what? It's a solid way to play those titles, so I'm just gonna put Sonic Origins in the A tier. Next we have is Sonic Frontiers. Sonic Frontiers is solid. It's, yeah, like when Sonic Frontiers is pretty much solid, especially with the update that fixed the game. Like in the first update, you had the photo mode, which helped by making thumbnails and shit, and cyberspace was ass, honestly, but the magnet dash pretty helped it, and the combat is a bit more fluent compared to Unleashed, but it's not that engaging. It's just cinematic after cinematic. The supersonic boss fights are pretty much fun. Like the Titans, like, yeah, that shit was cool. And now with the addition of the spin dash, like, the open zone just actually feels pretty good. Like, Sonic Frontiers really had the potential for me to be the best Sonic game, cause it mixed the open zone idea, which is literally just Adventure 1, with the cyberspace level design, which is Adventure 2 and Unleashed. Like, if it didn't have the bad physics for cyberspace and it actually was more polished like in Shadow Generations, it could have been in the S tier, but it is what it is. The final Titan, as you know, the end, like facing it with Supersonic 2, like, damn, this man really had aura. Like, the theatrics this man was pulling off. This goddamn near felt like a Dragon Ball fight, to be honest. Like, yeah, Sonic Frontiers, it's decent, especially with the spin dash, which pretty much helps it and saves it from, you know, tiers like B tier or C tier. So yeah, just because of Update 3, which carried the game, and the multiple playable characters, which were also added, I think it's solid. It's solid enough to be in the A tier. Yeah. Next we have Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. I guess it's an RPG. Like, it's on the same level as Sonic Dash. Come on. There's not much to be argued. If you like RPGs, then I guess you like it. It's not a game for me. I'm just gonna put it in the C tier. Next we have Sonic Origins Plus. It's the same situation like with Mania Plus. Like, the only difference is they added some of the, I think, the Game Gear titles. Like, yeah, Amy is now a playable character. Amy feels nice in these games. Yeah, Knuckles is now in Sonic CD 2. So yeah, it's an improvement over Sonic Origins, so, but it's pretty much just the same game. So you know what, I'm just gonna put Sonic Origins Plus also in the A tier. Next we have Sonic Speed Simulator. I mean, isn't Sonic Speed Simulator, I think, a Roblox title? Like, I don't know, but solid. There's not much to say about Sonic Speed Simulator. Like, the hub world is pretty nice. It feels like very open-ended, which, you know, I'm a big sucker when it comes to open-ended level design. That's pretty much good, and it was also pretty much fun unlocking all characters, you know, Shadow and Metal Sonic and even Super Sonic. Yeah, I think this game is fun. So, but it's not on the levels of A tier or S tier. So you know what? I'm just gonna put Sonic Speed Simulator in the B tier. Next we have is Sonic Superstars. Sonic Superstars. What should I say about this game? Like, I personally, I don't like it because, you know, remember when I said the physics don't do that much in Sonic Origins to put the game several tiers down? Here it actually does. Like, you don't build up momentum that fast so much. It's way too restricted compared to other classic Sonic titles, and yeah, the physics feel off. The level design is, I guess, okay, decent. But the boss fights, they just have way too much invisibility frames, like, where you can't hit them. And the Black Dragon, like, that shit is just not responsive when you try to beat it. Like, it takes like 6 or 7 minutes. Like, why is it so long? Maybe the Black Dragon fight is skill issue, but I don't know. I just don't like it, and the Deathwave robot was like crazy. Like, there's just so much wrong for Sonic Superstars, and the pacing is ass. So I'm just gonna put Sonic Superstars in D tier, to be honest. Next we have a Sonic Dream Team. Dream Team is a good game. Is it the next mainline Sonic title? I think it's a side game, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, it has the boost, the level design is open, which gives it a few points in my book. And yeah, level design is solid, the bosses are solid. I think the only negative thing I have about Sonic Dream Team is not being able to buy it on other platforms. It's an Apple exclusive. But hey, it is what it is. Sonic Dream overall is just a solid title. It's cool, I like it, and the animations are very good. To be honest, if I had to rank the game, I would definitely put it in the A tier. So yeah. Next we have a Sonic Rumble. By the time of this video, like, Sonic Rumble isn't available. I think it's not globally available. Yeah, it seems like Sonic Rumble is just gonna be another Fall Guys type of game. Look, it's not released, I can't rank it, so I'm just not gonna rank it at all. Next we have a Sonic Mega Collection. I mean, like I said, it's another Origin situation. Like, Mega Collection is a very solid way to play these classic Sonic titles. Yes, they are in 4x3, but the only reason why they are in 4x3 is like they were released like in 2000s. And you know, the widescreen ports of Sonic 1 up to Sonic CD only came out in around 2013. The physics are pretty much the same, it's just emulated. You have save states and you have some of the Game Gear titles, but for some reason you don't have Sonic CD. I don't know why Sonic CD isn't a Mega Collection, which is a missed opportunity in my book. It's a solid way to play these games, so if I had to rank Sonic Mega Collection, it's definitely gonna be in the A tier. This one is actually gonna make Sonic Collection pretty much obsolete, so next one is Sonic Mega Collection Plus. I mean, it's pretty much the same game, just with more Sonic titles. It's pretty much the same collection, same game. Solid way to play these titles, except the Game Gear titles and shit, but it doesn't bring down the game that much. So if I put Mega Collection in A tier, Mega Collection Plus is also going into the A tier. Next we have the Sonic Gems Collection. Sonic Gems Collection is pretty unique and underrated. Like, it was the only collection that had, you know, at the time, Sonic CD, Sonic the Fighters, and Sonic R. Aside from Sonic R, all of these games are pretty much the same. Yeah, Sonic R is pretty much a downgrade a bit from the Saturn version, but it doesn't bring the game down that much. And yeah, the collection is still a solid way to play those titles. Gems Collection should be in the same tier as Mega Collection, so Gems Collection is definitely going into the A tier for me. Next we have a Sonic Classic Collection. I mean, Sonic Classic Collection was released for the Nintendo DS, but the Nintendo DS screen was kinda small. It's not bad like Sonic Genesis for the GBA, but the screen is like a bit I think it had a bit of delay and shit, but that's just emulation, like what can you expect and shit. I don't think it's a solid way to play these titles, especially by the time it was released. When was Sonic Classic Collection even released? Yeah, they were released around in the 2010s. Like, yes, it's still 3 years for the, you know, the widescreen ports of Sonic 1, Sonic 2, and Sonic CD, but I don't know, it's just something makes this version just inferior compared to Gems Collection and even Mega Collection. I don't think it's the best way to play the classic Sonic titles, so you know what, if I had to rank Sonic Classic Collection, I'm just gonna put Sonic Classic Collection in the, you know, C tier. It's okay, but it's not the best way to play these titles. I think C tier is fair. At last, we have Sonic at the Olympic Games in Tokyo, and we have the Winter Olympic Games. Honestly, both so far the same game. They're literally inspired by, you know, the Olympic Games, as the title says. I mean, it has pretty much some unique games. Like, I think it had racing, which is pretty much exactly from the other Olympic Games. I think it had one spinning game where you just have to tap the screen. And I don't know what's called anymore, but I think that was fun. But for some reason, progression gets halted because, you know, microtransactions, you have to pay shit. Obviously, I never paid shit. I just got it for unconventional means, but we're not going to talk about it. If I had to rank these titles, I mean, they're better than Sonic Dash, but that doesn't really say that much, but they're decent. So, you know what? Replay them from time to time. So, you know what? I'm just going to put the Olympic Games in the B tier. That's it with the video. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Make sure to like and subscribe for all good stuff. Also let me know what are your thoughts on the tier list and how you would make your own Sonic tier list. This tier list has been completely authentic, and that's actually how I feel about this game so far. Maybe I would place a few tiers here and there, but that's a video for another time. But hey, it is what it is. Alright, with that being said, be on the lookout for the next fan game showcase and eventually the next full playthrough. You know, Sonic Shuffle's about to go crazy. So yeah, see you guys soon.